Proper to say, if you are driving around or wherever you are listening to this show, park the car. You're not about to get out of it. And if you're watching, then you know to my right, sitting here to kick off hour number 3, are two guys who I love and know very well. My compadres from NFL Game Day Morning, and guys who I will be on NFL Network with in about 3 hours' time. Great. At 5 Eastern time, a 2-hour-long show about the quarterback class that's coming in and the quarterback class that's about to change locations in free agency when the new league year hits in 2 days. 2 days in the National Football League. My coach, Steve Mariucci, and Pro Football Hall of Famer Michael Irvin. Good to see you guys.
Hi, Rich.
Irv.
Man, great to be here.
Are we missing somebody? Kurt, welcome.
Well,
Kurt Warner. What's the matter with
Kurt's
Kurt?
in the air right now.
He's in the air?
It's on its way.
You know, and I think, look, I love Kurt. He called in when Suze was in this chair a week ago today, as a matter of fact, when I was at the Combine, revealing my sub-6 40-yard dash time.
Yeah, congrats on that, man.
Thank you. Why would you say congrats on that? And Mooch looks at me like I'm lying.
You're not lying, but I understand the guy who stretches you.
Yeah, Igor.
Igor stretches
give
you.
Igor some love.
What's up with that? You got a stretcher
Let me
now.
tell you something. This guy is
Rich.
a bona fide lead pipe wielding professional who keeps this guy. I did not see Irv with a back brace all year
Right.
long.
Now, get
That's
it right.
'cause he quit
Every
flying to
year,
New
my
York every
back
week.
goes out probably around late October, early November, every year. So I would come in to the studio like this.
Like Fred G. Sanford, yeah.
And these guys be like, oh, God.
Here we go again. There you go again.
So I got this guy,
Yes.
and he stretches all the guys, all the professional guys in Dallas, and he was stretching Rick.
Yeah, for Michael Johnson performance.
Yeah.
So look at me. I'm like, I'm performing very well.
And he performed.
So Kurt's coming here, and he called in for Suze, but he's never physically been here.
No.
And part of it might be a good running joke if he never shows up here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I would love to have him here, too. I'm kind of on the fence.
Yeah, I
Like,
don't.
what's
yeah.
good TV and what's not.
We should keep him away.
Okay.
I'll do
So
that
we're
that
going to be
day
on the
with
air
you.
tonight, again at 5 Eastern time, to talk about the quarterback class, and we're going to get all into that here on the show. But I do want to turn it over to Chris Brockman at the top of hour number 3, where we already had Dwayne Brown and Grant Hill calling in to get a news update brought to you by our friends at Honda.
And now,
Brockman with a special live report.
Brockman with the news.
It's the Honda Dream Garage Spring event that's bringing you Brockman's news update. The best thing to happen to spring since, well, spring training. You can get a great deal on the stylish 2018 Civic. Check it out at your local Honda dealer during the Honda Dream Garage Spring event right now. Mooch, Irv, you got an audience.
I know, I love it. Actually,
Chris?
this is the perfect audience. Friday night, guys, let's talk NFL first. A very disturbing, controversial video of Odell Beckham was making the rounds on social media, showed Odell on a couch holding what appeared to be a cigarette of some sort, and a female with appeared to be some illegal substances. Just wondering what you guys thought of this video, if the Giants should trade him because of this video,
gosh.
or is he costing himself money because of this
Well,
video?
the Giants say they're aware of it, and they're not commenting on it right now. And, it is something else. Irv, I just want to throw it to you first. What you think of the Odell? I assume you saw. It's just 2 seconds.
It's very quick.
It's two very,
He's also making a suggestion to the
disturbing
female there.
seconds,
Yeah,
to say
it's,
the
it's
least.
not good.
Yeah, I saw it, and honestly, guys, when I saw it, I was like, oh my God. And to be totally honest with you, I did. I went back and thought, oh, this is going to be bad. And I said Monday. By the time Monday comes around, everybody grabs a hold of this. This is going to be bad. And I felt for him because I know, he's certainly shouldn't be in that situation. I'm sure he doesn't. He's going crazy now that all this is out. But man, I thought, oh man, he's just a kid making a bad decision here. And things like this, once they're attached to you for life. It's just attached to you for life. So I felt bad about the whole situation.
What do you
been right there?
What do you think Shermer's doing today, Steve? What do you think Pat Shermer's doing today? What would you be doing if you got a video like that?
I mean, you're going to
placed
talk.
in front of you?
You're going to talk to Odell and see what's going on, and try to get an idea of when and what occurred. I don't know how many years ago or weeks ago that was.
Yeah, and he tweeted about that, right? Like he tweeted out that something about past intimating that happened a little while ago or whatever. But I don't know how much that's going to make a difference.
Yeah, I'm sure Pat wants to stay out in front of it and find out, more of the details.
Well, I mean, he's going to be signed at some point in time. All I know is this: is you don't know when it is. Okay, And
Yeah, Odell tweeted out, "Old news still makes a good story." I guess.
Guess what? If the Giants decided not to sign him today, I proffer to say there's 31 other teams lined up for him.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
do you think so? Or no? Yeah, for Odell.
Wait, no, let's get this right. Odell is going to have to go deal with the people in the program with the NFL. Just from that video, I don't care where you say that video was taken, when it was taken, why it was taken. You are now going to deal with those people in the program.
Really, even though
Oh,
he didn't
yes.
test positive or
yes.
get arrested or anything, and
Yes,
it was the
yes,
girl
you
that
are.
was closest to the stuff.
Yes, you are. You are dealing with those people now in that program. Make no mistake about it. That's just how they do business. Any little thing will get you in the program. And then they give you those tests. You know those tests, no matter what, you can't pass it. It's one of those tests where 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, tell me when you drink the most, or 5 when you drink the least, and they ask you all those questions. You can't pass that test. It's a trick test.
Seems like you know about that.
When
test.
do
You know so much about that test.
Listen.
I don't know what you're
What do you
talking
think?
about.
I drink when I am sad. 1, sometimes. 2, all the time. 3, most of the time. 4, a lot. 5, every day. Like, come on.
What else you have over there, Chris?
Just a lot of NFL player news here.
Oh, my God, man.
Do me a favor.
I just said, test me, please.
We will hit most of the NFL stuff.
Okay,
with them.
great.
What non-NFL stuff? do
Okay,
you have?
non-NFL
Sorry.
stuff. You want to hit Tom Brady here?
Yes, do that one.
Okay,
Do
great.
that
Tom
one.
Brady's Tom versus Time
Did you
finishes
see
up.
this today?
The final episode on his Facebook page, and he was on Good Morning America today talking about his possible retirement with Michael Strahan.
You have your wife, you have your kids, you have to find that balance. When it does become time to retire, how much does that factor into your decision?
Well, that would be a big part of it. I think you can't make decisions necessarily just for yourself, and I think that's one thing I've learned as I've gotten older. There's collateral effects to every decision that I make, and I have a wife that is very aspires to be a lot of things, and she travels a lot, and our kids. My oldest son lives here in New York, and 3 kids, and you're just always trying to juggle, and you want to be there for them, and you want to be there for the hockey games and the soccer games, and but you also realize the level of commitment it takes to give as much as you can to the team that needs you. So again, I think you're always trying to find that. I think most professionals probably feel the same way. It's sometimes it gets out of balance, and you got to figure out how to bring it back to a point where it feels great for for everybody involved.
It's begun. The concept of mortality. We had Gautam Chopra, the creator, director, cinematographer of Tom versus Time, in that seat you're sitting in, Mooch, on Friday, and he said that this episode that dropped today ends where he's seriously starting to wonder how much it takes to continue on with this thing. And I'm just wondering if that's just a March post-Super Bowl loss conversation and what it might be.
A lot of that, though. A lot of people, and I thought about that from the New England area, talking about retirement and all of that since that loss. So I would imagine that did affect them some way, and then the Josh McDaniels, take a job, don't take a job, we got unfinished business to go back. But that Tom Brady, that's the first time we're hearing that.
Right? Don't you think?
It's the first time we're hearing it, yes. I was going to play forever. And now it's something to think about. So, yeah, that's pretty interesting. How much of all of that has to do with him setting up also now? Let's be real here. Whatever meeting and conversations they have to have in the big room over in New England.
They haven't had that conversation.
That's what I'm trying to talk about. They said that was coming, and I'm sure it's coming, and there's a lot of stuff that's being floated before.
Meaning what? That I'll walk away if I don't like it? And then leave you with Brian Hoyer?
I don't know. I don't know. That's set up.
Because I still think he wants to play, though, right? I mean, you don't think that this is going to be a 2018 maybe or maybe not.
No,
I think this is like over the steering wheel, maybe playing his last contract, et cetera, et cetera.
I think we know him well enough that he's so competitive that he doesn't want to end like that, and quickly he probably wants to aspire to win another one, which they can. When they get Edelman back, they might be better. But when you're young, you make these professional decisions. Where do I want to play and sign and all that? Now he's making some family decisions. It doesn't surprise me. They're they've got kids that to consider and his wife, and so that's why New England's got to draft a quarterback this year. They got to draft a guy. I don't know if it's on the 31st pick in the draft,
right,
Rich, but they got to get a guy. that will be the heir apparent.
Well, and we're going to hit that a little bit more, not only later on the NFL Network, but in our next segment. What else do you have over there, Chris Brown?
News first reported by me last week. Tiger Woods is back, guys. Second place finish at the Valspar this weekend. What a story! What a weekend for Tiger. He's a second favorite of the Masters now. He's the favorite to win next week. He talked about his round over the weekend.
I had really some nice building blocks at Honda, and it's, I made a few tweaks for this week, and it's paid off, and I hit the ball well. I made some putts this week. I've been here before a few times, and so it felt very comfortable, and my game was quite solid this entire week. As a whole, I felt very, very good about what I did this week.
I can't tell how great was it. I know Mooch, we already discussed it in the last segment, but you caught the end of that too, right?
Yeah, I caught it, man. I was at the gym, watching the gym, and it was back to what you used to see. You know how when Tiger's out there doing well, you can be anywhere, and everybody has it on TV, and they're watching, and it was getting back to that where everybody was tuning in, trying to see if Tiger's really coming back. It was cool to watch.
When he dropped that 44-footer on 17 to bring him within one stroke to give us all the hopes that he could do it on 18. When he dropped that, I'm like, okay, he's knocked the rust off of his back injury, and his long game and his short game is getting there. He still just has that big moment ability. When he dropped that, and then I forget who was the announcer on NBC. Did we find out?
I think it was Gary Koch.
Was that who it was?
I think so.
As he's lining up the putt from 39 feet to try and tie it
on 18.
The announcer, I think it was Gary Koch, just says on a quiet moment, he goes, "He can't do this, can he?" And I thought it was a perfect reaction. He's not going to be able to do this, can he? But the answer is, yeah, maybe. Who's the most clutch guy you've ever been around?
You should do golf, Rich.
I do. No, I do the combine.
Soft.
I do the combine. That's just close enough. Here he is running the 40-yard dash. Who was the most clutch guy you've ever been around, Steve?
Clutch guy?
Yeah. Who's that been?
Jeez,
You've been around a ton of them.
Yeah. I suppose Jerry Rice. He was pretty clutch, wasn't he?
When it all came down to it.
Joe Mo.
How about you? Well, you weren't around Montana, were you, Steve?
No.
Favre. You were around Favre, Young, Rice.
For me, that catch, just that play, the Cowboys gets the Cowboys play right there forever. That's like that's clutch to me right there. You know what I mean? It was at the end, everything going out.
Montana.
Montana.
What about you playing? What about you playing? Got to remove yourself from the equation.
Who's the most clutch guy?
Yeah. Or played against?
I would say Emmett. Emmett was. That's why I tell people, and I love Barry Sanders, I would take Emmitt Smith over anybody, anytime at running back, man. Emmett was a beast, man. I mean, a beast, and he was a funny dude, too. We could be in the middle of a game, and Emmett made some incredible runs with his balance. When you think he'll be hitting, going to the ground, comes up out of it. And I said, man, it was an incredible run. And I'm looking at it, I said, dude, that's incredible. I can't believe it. I can't believe what I just saw. He was like, you shouldn't have seen it. You should have been blocking somebody anyway. You know what I'm saying? But it was just, Emmett would have to be that guy, man. He was clutch.
All right, good news update. You got one more item that you want to sneak in?
Yeah, I got one more. Cool baseball story. The Baltimore Orioles announced today they're doing something called Kids Cheer Free, in which parents can bring children aged 9 or younger to games for free. Every parent who buys 2 regularly priced upper deck seats get 2 free tickets in the upper deck for their kids. Program runs month to month.
Okay.
Trying to get younger people involved cheering for Major League Baseball.
Upper deck. And then for their home games, when the Yankees are in town, just keep them away from the right and left field seats. Just keep them safe.
Where they coming?
Keep them safe.
That's smart. You got to recruit
under 30 home runs for Judge this year.
Under 30?
Yes.
Oh.
You're just saying that because John Sterling's on tomorrow's show. You're just getting ready. Oh, yeah. Good Honda news update, sir. Appreciate that. Okay, Mooch is here. Irv is here. When we come back, let's start digging into the quarterback stuff.
Do it.
Okay. And obviously it starts with number 1 overall. These are all tease questions. Don't answer them. Does the Tyrod Taylor acquisition change the way that the Browns are going to go ahead and handle the top of the draft? And then what are the domino effects from there on out? Kirk Cousins is obviously going to change addresses by the end of the week. Okay. KC has made some cuts. The Dolphins are supposedly going to cut Ndamukong Suh. So much to discuss here with Michael Irvin and Steve Mariucci. We're on the air with Kurt Warner and a cast of thousands on NFL Network on these very subjects at 5 Eastern Time. That's later on this edition of the Rich Eisen Show. Just a great time of year. Brackets are out. Michael Irvin's Canes are in the tournament, playing in Dallas, which is good for you, very geographically sound for you.
Right there.
Tiger Woods with a great weekend. Baseball pitchers and catchers reporting. We all know what's going on in the NBA right now. The hockey playoffs are around the corner, and then the NFL comes in sometimes and just absolutely stomps it all out of the headlines because the Browns do something like they did on Friday. Irv, you first. What do you think of the Browns' moves on Friday? Acquiring Jarvis Landry for 4 this year, 7 next. Tyrod Taylor for 3 this year. And then they went ahead and traded DeShone Kizer away for Randall, a cornerback from Green Bay. What do you think of the Browns' moves?
I thought it was incredible. First of all, just the moves that they are making are saying something. And the talent that they have. I love Jarvis Landry. I love the dog in Jarvis Landry, and I'm telling you, I wore red pants today too, Rich, just to talk about this a little bit. Okay. Because as people, I'll wear a green suit later because that's what it's about money and how much money people make. But right here, there's a decision that people have to make on their football teams right now. And they're making decisions off how well people run, how well they catch, and all of these, how well they play football. But I want you to make sure that you stop. That's what red is for. Stop and think about the locker room. How well that guy works in your locker room, or any guy that you let go, how much will that hurt your locker room? Jarvis Landry is one of those locker room dudes. You want him in your locker room. He loves football. I think Cleveland has done a great job.
So why didn't Miami want him in their locker room anymore? Because all you're saying
I don't know what's going on in Miami.
Changing a culture.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on in Miami.
And Ndamukong Suh's about to hit the open market in a couple days too. Supposedly he's going to be released in the next couple days.
Rich, was that you and I talked about? Was that you and I talked about the thought of Jarvis Landry and Josh Gordon?
Yeah, I thought of you right away. The word physical jumps to mind, and Njoku on top of it.
Are you joking? Are you joking? That's incredible right there, man. If Tyrod Taylor can touch him with the ball, they'll have something.
The Browns are 1-31 the last couple of years.
That's true. Yeah.
You bring in a guy like John Dorsey, comes from that Ron Wolf tree. He's not messing around. He says we're going to get better, and we're not going to just do it from the draft. We'll draft well, yes, but we need to add some players that get it.
Right.
And you're talking about Tyrod Taylor took the Bills to the playoffs this year for the first time in forever, and the Browns haven't been in the playoffs in, 15 years or whatever it is. They're a better football team right now, much better than they were, and they still have all these draft choices. They still have 2 1s, 2 2s. I mean,
3 2s.
Incredible.
Yeah, and they've got some ammunition to keep maneuvering a little bit. It's going to be fun just to watch the Browns.
And I love, and I know it's hard, but I'm telling you, and I said this before they went 0-16, that I hope the Browns give it just a little time with Hugh. Just a little time. And they've done that. You know what I mean? Because they brought back a team coach that went 0-16. They're giving him some time and now giving him a second run. I can't wait to see what happens.
So the question is, Irv and Mooch, is that how much time is Tyrod Taylor going to have? Do you think, Steve, they're still going to, with the 1st overall or 4th overall pick, choose a quarterback?
I don't think in the first pick they need to.
No, that's the point.
Right?
That's the point.
The Barkley kid, we all fell in love with the kid. Just watch him, listen to him. You know what I mean? He's not only a great kid, a great player, he's going to be the great face of any organization. You got to have him in Cleveland, right? That's my thought. And then the 4th, if they in their evaluations of quarterbacks, if they have one that's just heads and shoulders above the others, figure out a way to get that guy for your future. But if it's a coin flip between Allen and Rosen and Darnold, they're going to get one of them at 4. Easy. I mean, it's going to be sitting right there for them. And then they have to decide, do we do that? Or do we get a Chubb? Or do we get somebody else that starts? Tyrod Taylor can do this for us while we're building up our team. Maybe they get another guy in this second round or later, use those 2s and move up and go get another good quarterback, whether it's Mayfield or whoever. They've got so many ways of improving their team and getting that quarterback of the future while Tyrod Taylor plays and holds down the fort for a while.
Would you do what I've been pounding the table for the Browns to do, which is use some of the ammunition that they have still? I mean, they could trade a couple of 2s if that's what it takes and still have a 2 for the second night to trade up from 4 to 2 and just get both and not even risk it. Get your top quarterback, get Saquon Barkley. We'll see you Friday night for 1 pick, and then we'll see you on Saturday, and then we'll see you in the fall.
Ooh.
Would you do that?
Probably not. I'd probably take my chances that somebody's going to be there at 4.
If you had that quarterback that was in here, that I mean, you know, the Andrew Luck that was in here right now, then you say yeah.
Who do you think's closest? Who do you think is closest to that based on the evaluation so far, eye in the sky, and what we saw at the combine?
I mean,
even with Darnold not throwing.
Yeah, I don't know that anyone of them.
Steve, you've got some of these guys on the grease board.
I did. I hate ranking the quarterbacks.
But you have to at some point.
I know.
That's what we do.
I hate. Listen to me.
5 o'clock Eastern on NFL Network, I might say.
Having not met them and look in their eye and get a feel for them.
Got
it.
Did you meet all of them?
No, I didn't meet all of them. So I met some of them, and so but Darnold probably would be that guy right now, based on everything I know, the potential, the arm, the size, his skill set. Probably him. But if the Browns think that there are 2 or 3 or 4 guys in there that could very well end up a starter for them, then they just sit and let it play out and use all of their picks, because they'll get somebody at 4. They could use the 2s and move up and get somebody later in the first round. But if they have a conviction, this is our Andrew Luck or this is our guy, then you got to find a way to get that.
And then let me answer this question, then we'll take a break, talk Cousins and the rest of the free agent market. Let's say the Browns do take Saquon and they don't do what I advocated, which is blow the Giants away. Do the Giants take a quarterback at 2?
That's the one. That's going to be interesting to see right there. Will the Giants take a quarterback with all the Eli's, with Eli and everything that's happening with that? That'll be interesting to see. I don't know.
Whoever it is, if they do, he's going to sit around on the bench just like this. He's going to sit. He's going to sit for a couple years.
Yeah.
Right? So maybe they take the next best player.
He'll sit right now, but if Eli gets on one of those interception sprees, you know those people in New York, they'll be calling for that kid. And that's what Eli knows.
2-time winning Super Bowl. They're calling for a baby.
I know. That's one of Irv's favorite pastimes on game day morning here on the Rich Eisen Show. And then later on today, no doubt. Just loving just 1 minute when Eli's on the table, on the docket for conversation.
Oh, I love Eli. I love Eli.
And then he backs it up. And then he backs it up by saying he loves Eli.
I do.
Which belies every paper cut. You paper cut him.
I love Eli. Because Eli plays. Well, you talked about it, Rich. Remember, you asked the question about clutch. That's a name you can throw out. Eli's been clutch.
Okay.
And any time when the moment is right, and Eli, he will be clutch.
And then where's the B word?
No. But sometimes.
There it is. All right, and while you're all riding high on the paper cutting of Eli, when we come back in 60 seconds,
Eli,
Dallas Cowboys news. That Mr. Red Pant might not even know about. See how he just shut up real fast?
What kind of news?
That's coming up in 60 seconds. We'll talk Cousins, Dez, that news, and some more when we come back with Steve Mariucci and Michael Irvin on The Rich Eisen Show. Welcome back to The Rich Eisen Show. Steve Mariucci and Michael Irvin still here for another segment. I'm fired up. We're going to be heading up the 405 together to go to NFL Network for a quarterback 18 show, 2018, with the free agent class and then also the incoming rookie class. Mooch Irv right here. Kurt Warner will be joining us later on. Orlando Scandrick, according to Todd Archer of ESPN, wants a release. He wants his release. Does that surprise you?
I knew they were going to be making some moves with O. They really like the young secondary that they have, and O is getting up, and he's done well with Dallas, but I knew they would be making a move.
Okay, so now I'd like you to be my Jerry Jones whisperer here. Okay?
What's that?
Knowing him as well as you know him. And Stephen Jones whisperer and the Cowboys whisperer. Everything I'm hearing about Dez Bryant out of their mouths, we love Dez. Dez is great. But I'm reading between the lines here. Dez isn't as good as Dez used to be anymore. Dez is expensive. We need to talk to Dez. But we don't know how to talk to Dez because we don't want to piss Dez off because we still want Dez to stay, but we want Dez to be cheaper than he is. Steve Mariucci, did I?
That was not bad.
Okay. Am I Am I missing anything on that?
No, you hit it pretty good and got all around it and everything. And it has been a lot of that out there. We've had a lot of conversations. We had conversations about that.
Who's the we? We almost harmonized there. Who's the we?
We have conversations about
Who's we?
Well, we have had conversations.
You and Dez?
We
88 Club conversation?
I text with Dez.
You've texted with Dez.
I've talked with Jerry and Steven.
Okay,
and
that's
Jason
why
He's in the loop, Rich. He's in the loop.
We've spoken about the situation. Yeah, we've spoken about the situation now, and they do want Dez back and everything. But there's a business side of it, and I'm gonna tell you something. I feel comfortable about, Rich. Your rendition there of Jerry. Jerry, as Jerry said to me, Jerry and Dez are tight. Jerry's comfortable with talking to Dez about business and everything. I mean, they're tight. I mean, they talk other business besides this business.
But Dez does not seem to be at all interested in taking any penny
Well,
less.
and
Is that true?
he's taking the right approach. They're taking approach. They're taking their approach. He's taking the right approach. I don't know anybody wants to say every time everybody asks him, "You want to take a pay cut?" Okay, yes, I do. Absolutely. Thank you. I can't wait to get that opportunity to take that pay cut. Thanks. Who does that?
Okay.
So he's answering it the right way.
So then let's get straight to the heart of the matter. Is he the same receiver? Is he a number one receiver in the National Football
League? He's a number one receiver.
So
absolutely.
Why hasn't he caught 1,000 yards since 2014?
Absolutely. And well, he's, of course, Dez had some injuries. And then the change at quarterback, I think, makes a huge difference. And honestly, I think all of that coming down at the same time kind of plays on him. And I want him to get back to having fun playing football. That's when he plays his best football, when he's having fun and not worry about this. That's one of the things I talked to Jerry about. I say, man, I don't want to hear all of this. Whatever you got to do, let's go get it done so we can get this down so you can have a healthy team, not just physically, but also mentally healthy going into this season coming up. Because last year, you had healthy teams, but they weren't mentally healthy with all that hung over the head of Ezekiel.
So before we move on, Irv, one of the many kids that you saw on the turf at Lucas Oil for the Combine working out a wide receiver, they need to draft one of those for Dez?
Oh, yeah.
Which one intrigued you?
Let me tell you now. I'm going to tell you something here. And there were a few kids that I really
They might not
like.
get Ridley if that's where you're going for.
No. We all love Ridley.
Hold on a minute. Let's see what Dallas drafts.
We all love Calvin Ridley. We all love him.
19th overall.
Did you hear what I just said? We all love him.
I see.
The we. Yeah.
Okay.
Back to the we.
You're not getting him at 19.
We all love him.
I don't think he'll be available at 19,
everybody
right,
loves him, though, man. No, he won't be. But now, there are some other kids out there, that I think that would do well in Dallas. And I remember talking about Juju Smith-Schuster last year.
You were on him.
And this is right, yeah. And this is why I love when Coach and I used to do Game Changers, because you really get a chance to work out with those kids up front. And I'm talking about that locker room presence in a locker room and kids like that. But that's what Jerry has to do. He has to find a guy that right now can come in and play a number 2 spot to Dez and take over that number 1.
Let me give another preview
Don't
here.
just get rid of Dez and you don't have any answer for anything.
You couldn't have been the man you were without Alvin Harper. I understand.
Right. I could not have been. Right. I needed help to make that play.
That play.
Let's give everybody a little bit more of a preview of what we're going to have later on at NFL Network. I do believe this is the top of hour 2 opener. Steve Mariucci. Is Kirk Cousins a franchise quarterback?
This is a great conversation right
in
now.
the National Football League.
Do you want me to say what I'm going to say later on our show?
Sure.
You know what? So we were talking about this too. The money he's going to command is unbelievable.
Over $30 million.
I don't know. Where did he go to school, Rich? Anyway.
Yeah. Right.
Over
the Michigan State University.
Yeah. So he's going to leapfrog Jimmy G because of demand, because of the position. And is he a franchise quarterback? I say yes, and I'll tell you why Kurt Warner will say no, he's not. Because he's never won a playoff game.
Right.
He's only been to 1 Pro Bowl. His record is such that it's just pretty 500 over time.
Right.
But I will say this. Over the last 3 years at Washington, which is just an average football team, right? He is ranked in the top 3 or 4 in many of the quarterbacking statistics. And game-winning drives, in yards, in completion percentage, in passer rating, in all these other things. Touchdowns responsible. He is in the tops. He is in the tops of all the quarterbacks we talk about. And so that kind of puts you in that category whether you like him or not. He has been statistically there. Franchise quarterback, yeah.
Beautiful.
All right. And what say you?
Beautiful. Now let's get to the bottom of this now. Let's get to the bottom of this. Listen, call out people in the names of athletes right now in sports that are making over $30 million a year. Steph Curry. Anybody else know anyone? LeBron James?
Kershaw.
Clayton Kershaw. Okay.
Mike Trout.
It's Harden.
Mike Trout.
James Harden. Mike Trout. And Kirk Cousins. You remember watching Big Bird, right? Sesame Street, when they say, all of these things look just like the other. Which one of these that really don't go? You know that? Right there. And they'll have the light on Kirk Cousins in the box saying, you like that? You like that? You like that? You like that? That'll be Kirk Cousins. He is the box. That's what I'm saying. That's amazing.
He's been pretty good since you liked that game.
Yes,
he's been pretty good.
Did you just call Kirk Cousins the MVM, the most valuable Muppet of the National Football League? Did I just hear that?
Oh, man.
That's what I thought about when I said he's going to make.
Yeah, but the market bears it, though.
That's what the market is.
And you know what? You know what's different
what the
between
market
Kirk Cousins and all those other guys you just mentioned? He plays quarterback.
Right.
There is a premium on that position in sports because it's the most difficult position to play. So if you are good, you get it.
There's another difference. Those other guys I mentioned, they're some real bad boys. All of these sports. I mean, they're the tops of the tops in the tops of all of their sports. And there go Kirk Cousins. They never won 10 games in a year.
Because LeBron doesn't play quarterback.
Yeah.
So
that's amazing.
You pay quarterbacks.
That's what the quarterbacks
Wait till
are.
Aaron Rodgers leapfrogs him.
Yeah, and Breeze.
And
Breeze is going to set. I mean, and we had Thomas Dimitroff on
But that's
before
my
the
point,
combine.
guys. That's my point. If Kurt is worth 30, we ain't got enough money to pay Aaron Rodgers. And that's my point.
And Dimitroff,
so why should Aaron take 35 when he should be getting 75?
Thomas Dimitroff for the Falcons says that he'd love to get Matt Ryan signed, but Matt's chilling out, seeing how the market's being set by people who haven't even made the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And won a playoff game.
And Matt will be in the 30s. And then Wentz and Goff will be in the 30s. And then soon it'll be the 40s.
That's crazy,
because
man.
of the quarterback position they
So
play.
you're saying somebody in their 20s is going to be in their 40s one day in the National Football League?
Absolutely, yes.
Crazy talk.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.